What if I told you we are living through the final great asymmetric wealth transfer in our entire lifetimes? Not just one of them, the last one. Because once the global financial infrastructure is fully built, once stable coins are everywhere, once banks have tokenized deposits, and XRP becomes the universal settlement asset, and once AMMs stabilize global liquidity, markets become efficient forever, which changes the dynamics in perpetuity. And in this video, I'm going to talk about where we are, what's coming, and why this is the final window to position yourself before the system locks in efficiency forever. So we know the system's broken. Unless you've been living under a rock, you're aware of how SWIFT operates. There's Nostro-Vostro accounts, about $27 trillion that's locked up to be able to settle cross-border. And this traps liquidity. And that liquidity earns nothing for the banks. They can't move it. Got to sit there so that they can settle it. And that's why there's such latency and cost involved with wires and all the things that have happened. Now that we have ISO implemented as of November of 2025, at least we have the messaging layer of that standardized across all this new global banks and other people. That's kind of the precursor to instant settlement. They have to be able to standardize the messaging before, they're able to settle real time. Otherwise, they're going to be reconciling all of that on the back end, very similar to the back end of the stock market, which still moves T+1. But right now, that liquidity is frozen and it pauses a bunch of things. Insurance settlements, it takes longer for mortgage payments, it takes longer for you to get paid. There's a ton of inefficiencies in how money moves today. It doesn't move like water, which is kind of the whole premise of currency. It exists in a way that doesn't move trustless and it's very slow. That's why you're capable of getting asymmetric bets, because of the inefficiencies, because the system is broken, because people are emotional in markets. And on the other side of this stuff, none of that's going to exist. The spreads, the arbitrage, and many of the other ways that people generate significant returns for themselves via investing, that's going to be truncated. It's going to be a regression to the mean. And that's what we're going to break down here for you today. So that all kind of starts with stable coins. In summer of this year in the US, we finally got the Genius Act passed. So we have full regulation on stablecoins here in the US, but stablecoins really aren't even meant for the public. I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have because they have been using USDC or Tether, and both of those are liability. They are assets that are issued by those counterparties. There's counterparty risk. JP Morgan has their coin, which really hasn't come out to the public. It's for inter-bank settlement. And that's what the majority of these stablecoins are going to be used for. It's not intra between them and somebody else. It's inter. So between all of their branches and locations and all of their systems, this is a seamless way on-chain that's a siloed, private, permissioned ecosystem where they can settle value real time for themselves, but not between counterparties. And nobody wants to use anybody else's stablecoin. I've tried to come out publicly and talk about this before. I understand why people would just make the assumption that people would use stablecoins to transfer value, because we've already seen it. We've seen about $47 billion this year settled on-chain, which is a lot of money. I can get why the average person would say, okay, well, if they want dollars and this party wants dollars and they want to transact and trade something,